Ricochet. There we go. All right, we are live inside the Facebooks, inside the YouTubes, and wherever else this is broadcasting out, because we have no idea where the thing goes, right? So welcome to the show. This is Joey Ragona, and I'm with my good friend Scott Vogel in the green room, just finishing up his dinner like we always try to do. Can you turn down your volume on that side, bro? We're getting feedback on it. And yeah, so welcome to the show. Tonight's going to be an interesting one, as always. Thank you for being here live. If you're on the broad or the replay, thank you for being on the replay. Already got some awesome viewers here. Let us know that you're here. All you got to do is go up to the post and click on the StreamYard link to let me know, or to give StreamYard actually the ability to put in your name so I can broadcast it in, just like Collie did right here. Thank you, Collie. And you made it. Yeah, and you're up since 4 o'clock in the morning. I so appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Camilla as well. Good to see you in the middle of the night in Sweden. Love all of you for being here. Monica, wow. Great to see all the tribe members joining in forces here. So thanks so much. And it's awesome. Awesome to see you all. Let me bring in my friend, Scott. Let me see here.
I like me as the witness protection image.
Oh my gosh, it's here. It's better that way. There we go. Let me bring this one back out. Let me bring this one back in. And I'm going to bring that, the witness protection dude. Dude, I'm just, hey, there we go. Got you, man. I'm messing around. I'm messing around with my Stream Deck today, so I'm putting in new switches and all this other kind of stuff. I like the technology. Holly Doll, good to see you. Nice to see you in the place to be. Collie Christie will not miss you unless an emergency. Hopefully there's no emergency today. Thank you for being here. Scott, my friend, how was your day?
Busy, nonstop. Getting my butt kicked in the yoga studio.
Yeah?
Last night, the day before, today, awesome, just great stuff. Lots of online interweb thingies stuff happening. Busy, just so many elements of this online world we live in.
Well, tell us about it. Tell us a quick summary of all the interlinking thingies you got going on, because this leads right into our topic today.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I have about 67 tabs open of just Kajabi pages. I've got another half dozen open in Thrivecart. Then I've got open in Zapier. And then I've got my emails open on two monitors. Because tomorrow we are pre-launching to our members. We're doing a live. So I had, of course, you got all the emails. You got the registration form. You got the Facebook posts that all drive back to the reg page and then go into the form with the event sequences of automations that send out the reminder emails and make sure all that's right. When somebody buys, then you got the upsell. Then is the economic engine working properly? The live video just ended on Facebook, just so you know, Joey.
That's weird. Okay.
You know, I'm just looking at it, and all of a sudden it just...
I just got a notice now. We're having trouble streaming to Facebook. This might be an issue on Facebook end. Well, we'll just keep going. Let's go.
Okay, so, and then I've got the Be a Video Pro homepage. It's about to go live tomorrow. I've got behind the scenes. I've got Copy Jumpstarter. And then there's offers with each of those. So you got the checkout offer pages for each of those. And then I've got the different pages of the pages. And so once the homepage goes to the 3 different products that we're launching, and one of the products has 5 different products within it. So each of those has its own page. So you got to check all that. And then, of course, the software is being updated. And so I had to go in and redo a video tutorial because it wasn't exactly what I was. So that's just a couple of things, and a couple of the products that we've been selling. The prices ended 2 days ago, so I wanted to make sure that those prices were right. And then it was like, do I make a new offer, or do I use the existing offer and change the price? So then you go get feedback on that, on what do you think you should do. So that's just a little bit about what I was doing today.
Wow. So I mean, yeah, Monica, you're right. Where it's all the clones like doing all this stuff, and this leads like right into what we're talking about today, like the standards of the industry and doing all these pages and everything else, and all the automations and all the upsells and the thingies and the links and all the stuff you're talking about there. And good old Uncle Joey here talks about just a simple email and a Google Doc to sell, thousands of dollars of stuff. So they're both right, and so I want to talk about it and hear what you have to say about the industry standards, because this has been an ongoing conversation in the last couple of days, even the last couple of weeks with me, that I've been seeing a lot of it where,
You're okay. I was just trying to see if I could get the live back.
The live is off here in the group. It says right here. So in the other two, we are live. So we're all good. I don't know what happened to the group. So it's on StreamYards. It could be on Facebook's side. I don't know. What was I saying? About really, where my mindset is with this today, because it's, I see a lot of it. I see a lot of overwhelm. I see a lot of people looking at, different ways of doing things, and there's really no wrong way of doing it. It's not that the standard funnels and evergreens and all this kind of stuff, the stuff we talk about, the push the magic button and sit on the beach and drink margaritas with your friends, works, right? I mean, there is evidence that it works, and that's kind of what we all want, and the dream is being sold out there. And I've just seen, not only for forever, but in the last week or two, just a lot of people getting just swooped into it and thinking they could build the entire system that you just laid out. Like, you've been in this for eons, right? I mean, you know what you're doing, and it still takes you weeks and days and weeks to do it. And I'm just looking at it from, as you know, Atlas is one of my newest programs. This is not here to promote Atlas or anything like that, but it is really about simplifying it. Is like, I went to my market, like you just said, go to your market and ask them the price and all that. And I went to the market, and that's the reason why we're talking about this today, is because, like, what do you want? What is it that you're looking for to do? And everybody wants more revenue and more freedom and all this. And what is the biggest problem? And the biggest problem is really about overwhelm and tech overwhelm and is the right system. How do I communicate with people? And I'm like, why don't you just do the simplicity of, having a text chat with somebody and saying, here, I kind of just wrote something on a Google Doc, or here's a quick PDF that says what I'm doing. Do you want to join it and see what happens? So that's where I'm at with it. And so I want to hear your side of the story about the standards of today and whether or not, when we should be doing it. Should we always be doing it? Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, there's two sides to that coin. Now, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I'm also putting together the PowerPoint presentation for the live. I was like, yeah, I got to get that done too, and that done, and I've got to finish writing copy I promised a client that I'd have done tomorrow. So, yeah. And then I've got a mastermind group tomorrow. So, okay.
1 second before you begin, just wanted to verify that, Laura, you are with us. So for some reason, Facebook kicked out on the club side, on the group side. So I apologize for that. Go ahead, Scott.
There's so much absurd hype out there, and the standards of what's being promoted as run Facebook ads, do pixel retargeting, run Google AdWords, throttle people, be everywhere, be constantly all over the place, and just put it out there and do this thing and go into LinkedIn and do that and go into Facebook and go into the chatbots and this thing and that, and get ClickFunnels and get this thingy and that thingy and this product and oh, that's not working. That's because you don't have this thingy. Yeah. Oh, you need this thingy and you need this thingy. You need it. No, you don't need. Now, someone can say, well, okay, but what are you doing? What I'm doing is different, because I'm launching a software company. And I can't just do it with a Google Doc and say, hey, here's a Google Doc. There's got to be a process to teach people how to do that. For the majority of people that are going online to share their message or a course or a philosophy where they want to be coaches or they're heart-centered people wanting to share their message, and it could just be a product or a course, to go through all of that with all of these different technology pieces that you've got to figure out and put together, it just becomes overwhelming. You know, Joey, that when I first started playing with Kajabi,
right,
I would go into Kajabi, I would help people out on Zoom, and that would be it. They'd say, well, where's your website? You can't see it. Well, where's your products? You can't see them. Well, you didn't need anything, and you still don't need anything. If you go out and help people and say, hey, let me share a Google Doc with you. Let me take a look at your thing. Let me write you a little bit of copy. Let me send you an email. We're good. That's it. Oh, yeah, you want an offer? Great. Let me go put an offer together, and you can send me some money if you want.
Well, what about, the people that are saying, like, this happens all the time, because there's always two sides to the argument or the debate or whatever you want to call it. And you have people that will say, well, I've got, an evergreen thingy going on, and I'm in my sleep and it works for me and I spend all my freedom. Those are can you turn on your side, man?
I just got the Facebook back online, so.
Oh, so the club, or sorry, inside the group?
Yeah, we're back in, yeah.
Okay, I haven't. It still says there's a problem here. It might come back to me for a second here. It takes a second to get back. Okay, so we see so many times that people will debate the simplicity of things, or where even the simple thing, even if you're just starting out with a simple, gift. Lead magnet for everyone else. We call it a gift, and then they want to build the system, and all the automation and the emails and the sequences and the upsells, the downsells, and all these other kind of things, right? And that is fine. Like, you can build automation, and I'm an automation freak. I love it. We all have automations. It's great, but it wasn't built from day one. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to go do this and build this entire system out. Automation comes in after you have a process that works. That's what automation is for. It's to replace the processes, right, that you can replace. Do you agree?
I totally agree. You've got to start out by figuring out what is it that you're going to do and how are you going to help people, and what is the gift you're going to give them to get them started down the road to their journey, their path closer to you, which then you can help them. As time goes on and you say, you know what, I've been sending the same email out 100 times to answer the same question. Maybe I should automate that.
Right.
Now I have a program that a bunch of people have helped me develop over time.
Right.
Now I probably put that up in a Kajabi type thingy or whatever. And so together now, go watch it. I think there's a balance, and the challenge is, I think people start off on the treadmill, on fast,
right,
super fast. They're running as fast as they can. Monica said, where are my clones? I have a lot of people on the team that are doing a lot of different things, but when it comes to the initial phases of it, I've got to do it. Then once it's done, I'm going to be like, you see that? Go fix it, go change it, go clean it up. Go clone that. Go do this, that. I've already done it. And you're right, Joey. It's been 11 months I've been playing with this thing. It's not like, oh, yeah, I'm going to launch this thing next week, and we just started it 2 weeks ago. 11 months. And the homepage that we're going to launch, I've spent hours on the image that I didn't like. And finally, we just found another one, and we just finished it. That's why I was not late to the call, but late to being with you, because
late to the green room.
And I think if we simplify it, again, you're the simplifier, I'm the multiplier. It's why we get along so well.
Right.
And when I was just like, when I used to be a speaker, I wrote my seminar, I'd go talk to people. I'd get on the stage and I'd talk. And when I was done talking. And that was that. There wasn't any, I used faxes, I used postcards, and I did extremely well. There weren't these long involved funnels. I'd go, I'd present to a few hundred people, I'd make an offer at the end and make 5 figures in an hour. And I didn't need all this other stuff. Now, that's a little different these days, but it's not that different because we do this. You go and you share and you put together content, material, and you get on calls and you help people and you teach them. You don't have these long involved funnels. Yeah, you got Infusionsoft. And yes, you have the automations because it enables people to get closer to you.
Yeah, the automations were all built over time, and even with my coaching intake, free get on the call strategy thingy, right? That's a very simple process. And if I showed you behind the scenes of what's going on with it, it took me years to really get it the way that I wanted to. What happens if somebody cancels? What happens if they redo it? Like all these little things, right? What happens if they rebook? Blah, 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 blah. And it just took me, doing things manually and then adding a piece in. And then, maybe I can automate that. Oh, there's this thing called Zapier now. This is awesome. Let's do this, right? And all these things came into play where it was just like, okay, what's the simplest process of me getting somebody into my world in that one particular funnel or the way it was. And so you're right. What I'm, really trying to stress here with people is that it doesn't have to be difficult at the top end, even to make a whole bunch of money. It's if you can't communicate in simple text or a simple document or something like that, the funnel isn't going to help. It's not going to help at all. That's not what sells it. It's not the evergreen. It's not the webinar. It's not the thingy. It's not that, right? That becomes the vehicle maybe to do it when you eventually get everything dialed in. And here's the thing. People are sold on the fast track, right? Do it this way, and you can push a button and sit on the beach. And they buy into that time freedom thing. If I just do this, it'll be time freedom. What they don't understand, or maybe they ignore it, is that they're spending all of this time trying to dial those things in without even knowing they're trying to dial it in, and they're trial and error, piecing all these things together. All the stuff that you talked about, can only imagine somebody who has no idea really, or they're brand new to it, trying to piece together what you're doing. And imagine, like, it's taking you 11 months to do all this stuff. Imagine somebody else who really is brand new to it. How long would it take them to do that? And if they just spent, and let's call it 11, let's call it a year, okay? That you both spend a year, and they spend a year and they still don't have anything dialed in. And if they only spend a quarter of that year, doing the simplicity of helping and getting to know people and blah, 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 and say, you know what, I'm thinking of doing this coaching program to help with this. Would you be interested in something like that? Dude, done.
Joey, you said something there that I just want to reiterate is the people get into and throttle. They want to go from, I said this once to somebody, they went from 0 to full throttle overnight.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. It doesn't work that way. To start the process and get out there and, like you said, Zapier. Okay, well, oh my God, I got to do this and I got to zap from here and I got to do that from there and I got to do that from there. What if you just figured out something and started helping people? We've talked about that a lot. And it really has to be simple.
It does.
I got to perfect the web page. You and I were playing one day with one of your pages, and we look at pages and we talk about the 40-40-20 rule. So you put up a simple web page that, like my homepage for the new brand,
yep.
it has 3 entry points and an image. That's it.
Right.
I don't have long, scrolling, flowing things, flashing this and backgrounds and this. It's like, hey, if you want this, you're in the right place.
Right.
Here's your 3 options. Go check out each option.
Right.
The whole, well, we got to have these flowing pages that have all these sections and this and that, and the amount of time, and then you got, I can't do it. Okay, now you got to go out and hire somebody. Anybody can go out and get anything, whether it's Wix or GoDaddy or Squarespace or WordPress, and put up a page that says, hey, I know what it's like to struggle with this thingy, and I figured out this cool thingy that can help you get this result. And if you're interested, click here, send me an email, or check out my gift, or go to my Facebook page or my YouTube channel and check out a couple of videos I made. That's it.
Yeah, and you're right. It's about, look at all the comments here. Thank you for participating here. By the way, if you have a comment, or you've got some feedback, you've got some stuff that you want to teach us, we would love to hear from you. If you have a question that we can answer about your thingy, funnel, sales pages, copy, whatever it is, please put it in the chat. We'd love to help you out. Monica is saying, and I'll answer that in a second, Scott. The message and content sells, you're right, that it is not the tech. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, I was agreeing with you, and let's go to, everything we do is about relationships, Joey. You are a master. People love you.
Well,
you're
thanks.
Heart-centered. Oh, shush. You're heart-centered. You're honest. You're open. You're knowledgeable. You're brilliant. And relationships. If we go out and meet somebody for the first time, it's like, you're interested. And by the way, Kali, yeah, that's why I can do what I can do, is because I breathe, because I'm in that yoga room every single day. And when I'm not in the room, I'm thinking about the room, and I'm thinking about my life purpose is to help more people to live this kind of life so that they can do it.
Yep.
My first venture into this online world, pretty much, Joey, as far as the funnels and the courses, I put a course on Udemy. It took me 6 months. I made 247 videos teaching people how to use a piece of software because the developers didn't have any tutorials. I figured it out, and it became a bestseller. I sold a lot of them, and I figured, this thing actually works. What did it cost me to go up on Udemy? Nothing. What did it cost me to market? Nothing. I didn't make a ton of money because of their model, but it enabled me to proof of concept that people wanted what I had, and they liked what I did, so that I could continue to do it. Same thing with copy. I look at someone's copy, I rewrite it, and they go, would you write more copy for me? Oh, maybe. Or you look at landing pages and sales pages and funnels, and they're so complicated. Instead of the simple thing is, hey, I saw that you were in yoga pants. Do you do yoga? Cool. You want to talk about yoga? Yeah, that's it. I didn't have to go through a sales page.
Yeah, I talk about those as obstacles, and we've said that before, that everything we put in front of the client is an obstacle, and that includes the landing pages, the sales page. Doesn't matter. The webinar doesn't matter. They are an obstacle, and because if they could get the result without any of that, getting directly to us, and even without us, they would do it. So we have to think about that. And as soon as I realized that, and I wasn't the genius behind that. I think it was Eben Pagan who told me that one many, many moons ago. And then I just kind of thought about it over the last couple of years, thinking that's exactly right. And especially with today's world, that the standards of the industry is becoming a pandemic itself. That everybody's doing the same exact thingy, and those obstacles are becoming people are becoming blind to it. If not already, they're blind to it. Like, oh my God, I got to sit through this thing, or I got to put my email in over here. And people ask me like, what do you do? I want to put a webinar up. Like, how do I do it? Like, why don't you just put the webinar out in front of the audience without the opt-in page? Why would I do that? And I'm not going to make my opt-in page. Well, what happens is you're going to get freebie seekers who want to see just the webinar or the training itself anyway. So why don't you let those freebie seekers see it? Right? And then you have instead of a sales sequence at the end, why don't you have a gift enhancer sequence that says, hey, look, and the webinar, by the way, or the training is not that fluffy thingy. You actually teach something, go figure, right? And then it's like, well, if you really like this and you're into it, I got some more details or whatever, more things about these things. If you want, opt in here, get it, right? And that is how you just reverse the process, and people are like, this is amazing. And so, yes, you get less opt-ins. Your list becomes lower, whatever, but they're more qualified people. They could be dream clients that way.
Joey, what if we looked at emails like we did at direct marketing?
Exactly.
Every time I sent out a postcard or a letter, it cost me money.
You're right.
And I was real careful who I sent that postcard to, or that list, or even the fax to. What if you looked at email in the same way? Because you know what's coming one day, I think, Joey? One day it's going to cost you money to send an email.
Right.
Somebody one day is going to say, okay, everything's already happened with all this craziness with Apple and iOS and this and what's going on. And somebody one day is going to say, you know what? Why don't we just start charging to send emails? So why would I want any emails on my list? You know, I have.
That's a brilliant point, man.
Well, think about it that way. When you send,
I do.
Would you put a stamp on that? Would you spend 40 some odd cents to send that out?
Yeah, I don't go that far, but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Because why would I'd say why waste X's and O's when you send out an email that's totally worthless? I had a couple of thousand people on my list. It's down to 300 and change.
Yeah. Well, the mentality is because it's a shotgun game, right? It's a numbers game. Man, I hate that. You know, when people tell me that strategy, it's a numbers game.
But it's the gurus again too.
I know, bro. I know.
Not mentioning names is, throttle them, and you got to send out 8 million emails. Going back to your webinar thing, when we're going to start doing joint ventures and we're going to share Fast Video Creative with people. And the emails that I wrote for you, my colleagues, my joint ventures, are basically go, you know what? Scott's going to get on a call. I want you to join him. He's going to show you the software and how fast you can make videos. And he's going to make you an interesting offer for it. That's it. I'm not going to go through 45 minutes of mindset, this and that, and blah, blah.
Your rags to riches story.
3-minute rule, this and that. And I started out when I was, a poor child, and this and that. Now it's like, you know what? I got with this dude. We created this amazing software that's going to help you make videos really fast. Let me show it to you.
Yeah, and
done. You got any questions?
It's true. It's like what Collie says. This is what they want. The people are buying they want the transformation, right? That's all they want, and that's what they want from you, Scott. And yes, they might want a little bit of your credentials. Okay, great. You told me you got this thing. You showed me how it's going to transform my life. Well, who the hell are you to tell me that? That's fine. Well, here's who I am, right?
Well, that's that, again, going back to Brent Convidic's 3-minute rule.
Right.
Here's what I got. Here's what it does. Here's how I believe it's going to help you get your transformation. And by the way, here's why you should get it, because.
Well, here's why you should listen to me, right?
Here's why you should listen to me. Blah, 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 and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not going through the whole thing. And here's people that should be on the call. And here's who shouldn't be on the call. And here's the story of this. And the whole guru fill in the blank name thing. Does it work? Sure. Is that the way you and I want to do things? No.
Bro, I'm telling you is that, for me, you've seen this happen over the last couple of years with myself and what I've been doing behind the scenes. Now I'm so excited to share it with the Atlas people, to open the curtain and say, look, this is exactly it. And the funny thing is that it's kind of meta. And I was doing the work today and the last couple of days, getting so into it and simplifying not only, the workshop presentation thingies, and just looking at it and thinking, what am I going to say here? And it's like it's meta because they go through the process of it. They already went through the process to get there, which they may or may not realize until they get into maybe the workshop. But then it's the meta part of it that, look, you're actually experiencing this thing right now that I'm actually showing you what to do. And so there's no selling involved, because if you're here because of the thing and you have just look inside and think about what you're feeling and how it got you here and all the feelings that got you here and all this stuff, the sale is easy. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about simplicity. And what it is like, I would rather spend the time building those relationships with people on a one-to-one basis. Yes, it is time. Yes, it is time. But I am investing that time rather than investing in cold Facebook ads and all this other kind of stuff, because I did it, spent tens of thousands of dollars going through the new Facebook systems, and didn't work for me. I'm not a genius, so maybe it just didn't work for me. And when I switched over to actually talking to people on the one-on-one, it began to work. And everybody listening to this right now, I know what they're thinking is like, holy crap, I can't scale my business speaking one-on-one, right? And that's completely true, but that's not what I'm talking about. But it all begins with one. It all begins with one. And there becomes this tribe of people, this camaraderie of everybody. And everybody on here that I've seen so far is part of that camaraderie because of it. All the advocates, all the people that are here, right? And all it is like, where do you want to invest your time? Do you want to invest your time either trying to build something that you have no idea that it's going to work, or do you want to invest the time into the people that you care about, and then eventually say to them, I'm thinking about doing this one thing, this coaching program or this other thing. Would you be interested in it? And that is how simple it can be. And that doesn't have to be a landing page. It doesn't have to be anything. I'm going to bring up what Monica says. It's not as easy to see the same hard sell tactics over and over again. I agree with you. Monica, this is one of the reasons why I talked about this today, because going through my Facebook feed, it's like, oh my God. And the strategy or the technique that people use, and the push, I call it the push, prod, poke, persuade, process what people are trying to do. And it's not their fault. They've been taught all this kind of stuff. And you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. The opposite of push, prod, and poke and persuade is provide value. That's all you need to do. And thank you for saying that we are refreshing, because this is what we believe.
Again, Joey, interesting story. So somebody sent me a message from the group, and it was a nasty message. It was true, but it was nasty. Basically, what happened was, in the tutorials, my partner developer in the software company, he didn't want somebody getting the software and trying to load a 45-minute video or trying to make a 30-minute video. That's not what it was designed to do. So he wanted to have them watch a 5.5-minute video on how do you create a project if you want to do a long video. And I was like, okay, I created the video, and you had to watch that video in order to get the download, to get the software. And some guy was throttled it. He's like, this is terrible. It killed the experience. And I showed it to 3 newbies, and they were like, this software is made for computer geeks and blah, blah, blah. Pissed me off royally. But he was right, because it was, they had to understand that. But I said, look, I'm going to show you how to make a video in 5 minutes. Boom, it's how simple it is. And now all of a sudden I put you through something. You haven't even gotten the software, and I totally complicated it to where you'd be like, I'm done.
Right.
And the guy was totally right. It was the way it was delivered. And my first reaction was, you know what? Click. You're out. I'm going to revoke access to the software. Boom, 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 boom. And I didn't sleep for that night because then, like at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was like, I know what I have to do. And I changed everything. Feedback. Even though it was horrible, difficult feedback, he was right. And I went one step further yesterday. I sent them a message and said, can we Zoom? I've got a list of virtually hundreds of things, lives, launches, blah, blah.
Right.
You know what? We got on a call and we chatted for a while. And I said, I want to thank you for pissing me off. How many people get on a call and say, you pissed me off? Thank you very much. Because there was a part of me that didn't want to hear it. And here's an email that I got. It was a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you for being so willing to take feedback in a heart-centered way.
Wow.
So I'm bringing that up because of what you said. That's a one-on-one relationship. This was somebody I was ready to boot.
Exactly.
It pissed me off. It was nasty. And it was calling something I did terrible. And it just really, the end of the conversation is like, I got a group of 800 people who need this thing. And I've got access to some other groups and I want to help and I want to help and I this and that. Because there was no autoresponder. There was no automated thing. I got on and spoke to a human being as another human being. And now it was like, my new friend.
Exactly right.
Friend.
Exactly right.
He's out of something that I easily could have, and I said to him, blessings to you, my new friend, because he is.
Right.
And I learned a valuable lesson because I'm moving so fast in so many systems and 42 this and that and pages and this and that and that and that. And we need to do that and that. And then it's like, no, let me back up and change it. But it goes to the one-on-one relationship where tomorrow I've got 70, 80, 90 people going to be on a call. I'm giving them an opportunity to get involved in a new program we're coming out that they can get in at a really great price because it's a gift back to them because they've already given me some money. And I didn't have the time, but I said, you know what? Let me make the time. A lot of people don't have the time because they're like, I got to get this funnel out and I got to get the Zapier thing and I've got to get this and I got to get that. You know what? What if you got on a call once a day with one person?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You hit the nail right on the head. If you got all the time to go and fuddle around with all this other stuff, you have the time to have one-on-one conversations with people, and those people will build your business. I promise you that, because it's done it to me. And I was stubborn and never listened to, my mentors and coaches back, 2014 and 15 of build the tribe first, the people first and all this. Yeah. And 3 years of like headaches and crap and going through everything else and losing tens of thousands of dollars trying to figure everything out. But I'm not the smartest tool in the shed. But and then just turning it around and saying, I'm going to spend my time somehow, some way. The last 3 years, it wasn't working. However, and I'm going to try this other thing now. And it began to work. It wasn't overnight. And I don't want anybody listening to this to think that, oh, there's this brand new system if I just do this. It's not going to happen overnight. But when it does begin to take steam, it's a hockey stick. It's just like bang. It just goes like crazy. And it's so incredible to have that tribe around you. And I can't stress how simple it is. It is not easy because it's a devotion of time, right? And any entrepreneur or anybody in business hates that word, time, right? That's going to take time. In my view, Scott, we've talked about this many, many times on air, off air, that it's a choice of where you want to spend your time. And the problem is we can't see the future. And all we see right now is what we want, the desire of, I need to make money now, right? Whereas if I could go back those 3 years, 16 to 19 and go, wait a second, this isn't going to work. I should build the tribe first. I would gladly do that. But hindsight is 2020. And the hardest job that I have in this world is to get this message in front of people before they sacrifice a lot of their time and their life freedom and all that stuff. And it breaks my heart. Like when I see these things of people in groups that we're trying to communicate with and help and just give this opinion and knowledge. And I get where they're at because they're being pulled down all of these rabbit holes. And you and I, we know that there is a solution for it. It's to step back and simplify for now and then scale later and all that. I don't know, man. For me, it's heartbreaking to see it because I see dreams die every day.
Joey, the human connection was said in here earlier. Kali said it. Everybody wants connection. That's what we as human species, creatures on this planet strive for. And the more we get away from that, the less it's going to work. And unfortunately, those that are teaching all this stuff, let me show you how I made $1 million in the last 16 and a half minutes and how you can too, and take a look at my cars and boats and all this crappity crap that I've got. And people are like, yeah, I want that. And they invest and then they invest. And the bright shining object syndrome. I was on a life purpose call and there was something really interesting that came up about it. What if we looked at what our true calling was, what our true purpose was? We had the money, we had the time, what would we do? And the fella I was talking to said he would help impoverished people who barely had enough money for food, didn't have electricity, didn't have clothes, new clothes, hadn't taken a shower in months. And we kind of came to, because he was like, well, should I get to this course and this? And as marketers, we succumb, unfortunately, to good marketing copy.
Yeah.
We buy crap. It's like, wow, I got to have that thing because I need that thing, when I haven't bought anything in a long time because I don't need anything. I need something that I know will help me solve a problem that's causing me to waste time or stress that this thing will fix. Not something that promises me something that doesn't even exist, but then they find that pain point because they're taught to do that. I don't need it. And when I said to him, okay, so the next time you go to do a bright, shiny object, because I said, how many ways can you market what you currently have? List them. He said about 20. I said, you exhaust those 20 ways, you'll find another 10.
Yeah.
What do you do today without buying something to further your business? And the biggest piece, Joey, was next time you want to go buy something, think about that kid who says, I'll use me, Scott, you promised me that you'd help me get food. You promised me you'd help my mom by helping us with electricity. You promised that you'd make sure I had one solid meal every week.
Mm-hmm.
You promised. And I kind of took it and said, you know what, Scott? I'm struggling. My self-worth is low. My health is poor. I have no spiritual guide in my life. I'm addicted. And I understand this yoga thing could help me. But you're doing something that doesn't get you closer to your life's purpose. And so, what would happen if we had that dialogue instead of, I got to get this new thing?
Yeah, well, dude, you're right. Like, the inner dialogue is something I totally agree with. Even when I was coaching real estate investors, this was one of the biggest things that I would always bring up about passion, about how do you know what your passion is? And I discovered, and this is how I, maybe somebody can put it in what they think passion is in the chat, and I'll even ask you, Scott. But for me, the definition of passion is something that, you are going to get up and do anyway, and it's something that you cannot not do. That's basically what it is. It's you're always doing it no matter what, no matter if you're getting paid, if you're not getting paid for it. It's just you cannot not do it. That's a passion. And so I looked at my life and I said, okay, well, I'm a coach and I love helping people with their problems. And I would always bring up to people, why are you buying real estate? What is it for? What's the end result for you? All the stuff you just talked about, Scott. And they would always have the surface levels, and I would always get them deeper into the real why. And I said, and to get them to the real why, without going through the whole process of it was always down to the point of, all right, well, if you had all the money in the world and blah, 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 would you still buy real estate and not make any money on it? Would you let tenants in for free? Would you sell it at the end of the day and not make any money or give the money away? And they would say, no, that's crazy. You're an idiot. Why would you say that? Like, well, that means that real estate is not your passion, is what I'm trying to get at you. So what is the reason you're doing the real estate? And the reason I'm telling you this is because I know that if you asked me that question, that I would still be on my deathbed helping people solve their problems. That's my life's purpose. That's what it is about. I cannot not do that. And here's another thing about passion that I figured out. That when you are in your passion, because you cannot not do it, and Netta is probably freaking out going on this grammar thing, right? But if you cannot not do it, it gets you into trouble because you cannot not do it sometimes, right? And a perfect example for me is because if I'm in a situation where people aren't in my world or aren't in business or whatever, I'm in my coaching hat is on or my problem hat is on, and they're like, what the hell? Like, dude, all I did is ask you about the weather, right? You know what I mean? And so you're always getting into this passion thing. So that you're so right about stepping into, why am I doing this? Why? And for me, it's about helping people not sacrifice their lives. That's what it's about. I see it every day. They sacrifice their life.
Joey, guerrilla marketing. I always go back to that.
One of the first books, I think that was one of the first ones I read.
But not just that, the book, it's the concept.
I know.
Somebody was, I overheard a conversation and they're like, we need to get a sign out on the road by the corner of this. And I was like, nobody's going to see it. They'll see it once and they'll never see it again. And we did a study actually once with a florist. They had a banner over the road and we changed it every week and it worked. Why? Because people look forward to the change. But as soon as you put a sign out, after the first time, they never see it again. And they're like, okay, so, we need to hire them. I said, no, you don't. And it always behooves me. I was like, you know what? Do you think the person right across the street knows what of course they know what I do. Really? Let's go. Do you know who this is? Nope. Do you know what that place across the street does? Nope. What if you just made a simple flyer and walked around to people and said, hey, I do this thing. Is it anything? Guerrilla marketing. We talk about getting on call. That's guerrilla marketing. We talk about writing a simple email or a letter or a post. And as Ned has said, a podcast, as you do all the time, Joey. I don't know if you've been doing it lately. You used to get on lives every day. Maybe you do. I just don't. But just, getting on and talking and sharing. I went out to dinner last night, Saturday, because I write copy in a restaurant because it forces me while I'm waiting for my meal to get the copy done. Otherwise, I won't do it.
Right.
And I'm leaving the restaurant and I hear, Scott. And she goes, it's Katie. She's the manager of the place. And we have chats and this and kind of do what you and I do. And she goes, come here. And I sit down and she introduces her friend and her friend's like this. And I want to open my own off-premise bartending thing. It's like, okay, what's the name of it? She goes, I don't know. I said, stop with, I don't know. You haven't figured it out yet. And so we went down that. I said, how much is it going to cost you? I said, that, what this, that. An hour and a half later, she had this whole thing for a business that she's going to do and that, because that's what we do. And if I didn't have any of this, I decided a few years ago that I needed to make some money. Tabitha was working with me. And I wanted to build websites because Tabitha's husband is a programmer and web developer. So what did I do? I went to a town and I went into every single restaurant with a flyer. It was $100 bill, the brand new hundreds when they came out. And on the back, I had all the facts of a $100 bill. And cool stuff that people are like, wow, that's cool. It's like, here's $100. That's what I want to do is give you 20 minutes of my time, worth $100 at the time, and I'll help you with anything that dealt with social media, marketing, doesn't matter. Went to 60 different places. And I ended up with 3 or 4 people that I sat down with and eventually got as clients.
Did you have a sales pitch?
No.
Why not?
Because I had the thing. It was like, here, I'll help you with anything with your business. I will find you hidden revenue in your business. I'll guarantee it. Let me know when we can sit down. And a lot of them were like this. Oh, my website's going to be done tomorrow. I think 3 years later, it's still not done. My brother's, sister's, nephew's best friend does websites. He's great. Fine. But then there were those who are like, yeah, I do need to. And we went, there was no sales pitch. There was no funnel.
Right. That's my point.
It was, and to this day, if I was going to start a business tomorrow, first thing I would do is I would find people in a group and I'd say, hey, I'd like to interview you. I'm thinking about doing a thingy.
Well, that's another thing. But that's time. That's time, man. I don't want to spend that time.
Joey, I interviewed 100 brides.
Yeah, I know.
Years ago. But I was telling this girl, I said, I don't know everything there is to know, but I know an awful lot about the wedding industry because I spoke to 100 brides. And so when I stood up in front of a group of people and said, here's how you market to them, and why would they hire me? Because they're not going to go talk to 100 brides. They're going to tell them how great their stuff is.
Exactly. I've spoken to 1 or 2, or my sister's getting married, and I know everything, right? I want to address some of these things in the comments here before we get too far behind.
With the program, Joey. What the hell?
So, Lori, good to see you here. Someone said no one cares exactly how much you know until they know how much you care. You're exactly right. When you focus on the one, it makes all the difference. I couldn't agree more. And that if you follow that, anybody watching this on live now or the replays, these are the principles. These are the secrets of everything. It's showing people that you truly care. What does Collie say? So simple. We want connection. Yeah, we saw that one before, I think. So thank you for that, Collie. You are exactly right. By the way, just to expand on this for a second, that people, for anybody who thinks that your information is valuable, I think again, because information is not valuable. It can be found anywhere, and anything that you have can be found on the internet or the Googles and the YouTubes and anywhere. They can find information. People don't buy the information. You've heard it before that people buy the transformation, but there's another step to this, because what does that truly mean? When people buy the transformation, what they buy from you is what you sell, and what you help people do is called implementation. That is where the world is. If you help people implement to get their transformation, you will have no problem. Okay, so just want to stick that in there and let you guys think about that. Lori, people know whether they're just a number or if they matter. Joey, you demonstrated it from day one. Thank you so much. You were exactly right. That's why I don't like, looking at my email list as just numbers or a big list of this. Yeah, I've got 1,000 people or 100,000 names or whatever. These are people. Every name on that list is someone. They have a family. There's a life behind that name, and that's the way I look at it. I treat it as a person, which they are. This is why I'm finding that having a podcast is so awesome, because I'm having private chats with hundreds of people. I love that, Netta. You are on the right track. I promise you that if you continue to do that, your business will explode, and you can do exactly what I'm talking about. You don't need anything else. You could actually just say, listen, I'm having a sugar workshop thingy. I'm going to put some details into a doc. Go check it out. If you want it, let me know. Just DM me back and tell me what you want, whatever. And boom, you now have your funnel in place, and you're selling your stuff. Cully, it's how I speak through my NLP training, and I love it. All good because we don't know until we know, and then we cannot know. All know. Can you read that one, Scott? Because I think I'm all good because we don't know until we know, and then we cannot know. I don't know what that means. You got me in a loop there.
Okay. It's how I speak through my NLP training, and I love it. All good because we don't know until we know, and then we cannot not know.
So we cannot not know. Got it.
Not.
That's the piece I missed.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever you do, Joey, do not think about the blue elephant ever. Don't ever think about the blue elephant. Well, that's all you can think of.
Well, no, the way I look at it is more about like once you can't unsee something. That's basically what it is. Like once you learn it, it's like, okay, I know that already. Like you can't unsee it. So you can't not know anymore, right? It's like we don't know what we don't know until we know it, and then we can't unknow it, right? Unless we lose our memory or whatever. Cool. So I think the point is that it all depends on you watching what you want to trade your time doing. Because at the beginning of your business, there are only two things that you have, and it's money, which very few of us have at the beginning of our business, or time. And you're trading both of those, if not one more than the other. So it's mainly time, and you have to decide where you want to trade that time. And if you are trying to figure out if you're looking at the standards of the industry, and I'm not knocking against them because I know they all work and all that, but I think that because it's so important to build relationships, and that includes where the relationships become your email list of the people and the dream clients and all that, then it would be to your benefit to have those one-on-one conversations.
They're so much more powerful to start out that way instead of trying to go down the road of complexity and systems. Yeah, it's okay to create some Facebook ads, but maybe drive people to something simple instead of spending so much time trying to create this massive funnel that is so complicated. And if I didn't have years of doing this, Joey, and have a group of people around me, I wouldn't do it. It's too much. It's hours upon hours of tediousness that just is like, oh my God.
Well, remember when we were talking on the weekend, or I think it was the weekend, and we looked at my document and there was like a couple of things to fix, and I had, a couple of documents, whatever. It took seconds to fix the sales page or whatever, right? And it's live. It was just so easy. And even with the problem or the challenge that I had with ThriveCart, which really, just didn't see it in the perspective of what I was doing, I was still able to have people buy. They weren't like, there wasn't, nothing broke, and I sent out, or even right on the bottom of the document, I just took a snapshot of like the problem, and it was like, okay, wait a second, why my computer going to start? I don't want it to restart. That's not going to be good. So, that I put the thing on the bottom of the thing that said, hey, here's what you're going to see when you see this. And it was just like always like a live update. It was like a live. So it wasn't like a major thing that would break because the link was down or this happened or that happened. And that's happened to me before. It's happened to pretty much everybody. And so I was able to adapt to the problem, if you want to call it that, in real time without panicking. And I remember the very first launch that I did, back, who knew when it was, 2014 or something, with Infusionsoft and all this stuff. And there's nothing wrong with all these stuff. But I remember it broke. And the only thing that I was lucky about was I was still going into the behind the scenes of Infusionsoft, fixing things and everything else. So I was on it for like a year, learning Infusion so that I could do that. But I could only imagine that if I didn't, it would be a total mess. It would be completely gone. Right? So it was kind of like the same thing I'm talking about now, but still there was more work to do there in the back end to fix it all, and then send the email out and sorry, this link didn't work, by the way. You know what I mean? Ooh, getting feedback. Is that from you? We're good now. So yeah, it was just the simplicity. All I'm asking is that take a look at what you want in your business. Take a look at it and ask yourself, why isn't this the business that I want it to be right now? What do I need to go do in order to make it that business, and simplify it? If you're at the stage of growing your email list, then have conversations with that. Bring people in. If you want to do a webinar and build your list or whatever that is, well, why not switch the webinar into an actual training session, like a real training session, and help somebody? So you can do the exact same thing. Even if you did want to bring Facebook ads, say, hey, I'm doing this training on XYZ, so, how to do videos fast. Great. Then instead of the webinar, you would be sitting there live and go, hi guys, Scott here, going to do some live stuff. They're going to go, huh? Wait, what's this? Where's the slides? There's no slide. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you do this XYZ today. Boom. Any questions, by the way, right? Freak them out. Like, do something different. And that will start bonding with people. Like, this guy really cares.
Yeah, it's not complicated, Joey.
It's just simplicity. It's like, how do you want to spend your time? That's all. How do you want to spend your time, right? Is it in the back end, the technological, the duct taping, and all this other stuff, and figuring all that out? Or is it, I'm just going to throw out these conversations, have conversations with people, have meaningful chats with people, asking them about their business. How can I help? What's this thing that you're worried about? What are you doing? What's the challenge? And do a webinar or a training next week and go back to those chats and say, hey guys, or, hey Scott, because I'm like, there's no guys. I'm speaking to Scott. I'm speaking to Tony. I'm speaking to Lori, right? Whatever. Say, hey, based on our chat, I figured I'd do a training on this thing. You want to come and watch it? You're going to get yes or no. Not hard.
What if we went back to simplicity and going back to the topic here of it won't bankrupt you to talk to people.
No.
Zoom is free. Zoom's free. Facebook's free. YouTube's free. Google Drive is free. Google Sheets is free. So if I had nothing, I could, let's say that everything went away today. Everything. Something happened, no more computer, no more this, no that. I go to the library or I go somewhere. I find a computer. I get on Zoom. I would go into some groups and I would go see who needed some help. And I'd say, hey, I'd love to help you out. I've been doing this for a long time. I can help you out. Let's get on a Zoom call. Or let's get on a chat, or go get a phone and do a FaceTime thingy or a something thingy or a WhatsApp or whatever that thing that used to be the rage and now nobody's even talking about.
Clubhouse.
Yeah. And I would just say, hey, can I help you out? I know how to help you. Give me 15 minutes. What do you want in return? Nothing. I just did that. Well, even at the end of the day, life would be good.
Well, that's because of your mindset. And that's what we're trying to get into the world is that mindset actually does a couple of things. One, you help people and you have an awesome life because you're an awesome person. But two, you're demonstrating, and then sooner or later, a dream client will be on one of those calls or whatever and say, listen, is there a way that we can work together? And those are the conversations that I have all the time. And it's I remember going through the I won't mention gurus' names, but the universities of the objections, and and feeling icky and having the sticker on the side of my monitor, and somebody would say, yeah, that coaching, it's kind of it's too expensive. I'm not really sure that the coaching thing is for me, or I can't afford it. And it would be, okay, that's objection number one. Really, Scott, so how much does freedom actually mean to you? And I would be, oh my God, the insides of my stomach would be turning because my heart and head were fighting with it, going, oh, this is just not cool. And it was so much easier to switch to, how can I help you? Did I help you? That's awesome. Anything I didn't help you with? Great. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Right? That's it. That's the sales pitch.
Many moons ago, I was an insurance agent. I sold life and health insurance.
If I know where you're going with this one, I think I go ahead.
Well, basically it was, you're supposed to do cold calls.
Okay.
Everybody was scared to death of them. I just open up the book and call people up, or we'd go out canvassing, cold calling. I'd be like, let's go. I just go in and talk to people. And I didn't do the sales pitches. I didn't do the studying of the stuff. I just went in and it's like, hey, blah, blah, this and that, this, and had fun.
Okay, because I thought you were going to go with the scripting and with the sales. Because I even talked about this before the insurance. The best insurance one is, one of the best is, when they're talking about the children. You just had a baby, you need some insurance on your baby, and they're like, why do I need insurance on my baby? What, you don't care about your family? You don't care about your children? And the whole guilt thing, and like, my God, do you know what insurance is for? It's like to replace to replace the income of somebody. That's what it really basically is. Your baby,
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I know, but it's.
I couldn't go and say, well, you really don't care about your loved ones.
Right. You really don't care.
What would happen if you were taken out of the picture today? And I was like, look, here's the deal. There's this insurance policy, and if something happens to you, this is how much money your family gets. Is that something you think you should do? It's like, I did it because it made sense. Okay, bye.
Yeah, that's the simplicity of it. The sales, the hard sales pitches, I'm not a fan of it. Because I can't do it. I've never been a salesperson, and I figure that, like you get on a call, if you help somebody and you help the right person, then they'll ask you in their timeline. That's the other thing I want to end with today's call, is that I think the biggest thing is this, that the easiest way to sell somebody, and I hate using that terminology, but it's just to get the point across, is to sell it to them on their timeline. So, and we looked at so many different ways, and there's so many different funnels, and there's so many different, we talked about the levels of awareness, Scott, the people are the unaware, the problem aware, and all this other stuff, and people trying to get them into the most aware to buy. They're just trying to speed up that process on their timeline or our timeline. It's like, hey, look, I've got this launch happening on Friday, the thing closes, and you got to buy this thing. Like, so here's a whole bunch of emails you got to read right now. So you got to buy this thing. Yeah. And I'm telling you that it works. It works, but it's like, I agree with you, Monica. Like, hard sales, it's true. My stomach goes crazy too. And there is a place for it all. We talked about this before in other broadcasts, but when I do say these things, and when Scott, even we talk about this, is we're talking about, that's the only thing that you do. Like, all you do every day is hammer people over the head to go buy the thing because the card's closing every Friday, like whatever, right? All I'm saying is that when you make it about people and you help people and you give them the option to buy on their timeline, you will have no trouble selling at all. In fact, you won't even have to sell, because it's what I think you alluded to it, Scott, at the beginning of this, which was that people step up to the plate when they're ready. They're like, Now I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I've heard you. I've talked to you a little bit, and like the website thingy. Now I'm ready. I think I'm ready to do this. And there was no sales pitch. It was like, okay, great. I showed you what I can do. You're ready to go now. That's fantastic.
The easiest thing is to get on a call, get on a Zoom, get on with somebody and say, what are the three biggest challenges? What are the three biggest problems you're facing right now? Cool. What do you think the solution is doing? Well, I think I can help you. What if you tried this, this, and this? Go try it and come back and talk to me. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think I can help you. Here's how. And go do these things. See what happens.
Well, it's like Joey. A lot of people talk about results in advance, but very few people do it.
That's right.
You're one of the only people I know. You are releasing the Atlas program. And basically you're saying, come hang out with me for 30 days. Don't give me a penny. I want you to succeed. At the end of 30 days, if I haven't delivered the value to you, then I shouldn't have your money. On the other hand, at the end of 30 days, you're like, holy crap, this stuff's working. This thing's worth a couple of $1,000.
Right.
I'm going to come up and find the money instead of, holy crap, should I buy this? I'm mad. I got to think about it. I got to go to my husband, my wife, my partner, my parents, my somebody. It's a lot of money. I got to leverage my credit cards. I've already got screwed enough times. It's like, you've removed the barrier to entry completely.
Yeah, thank you.
When I did that years ago, I used to do a lot of seminars, and I get like 40, 50 people, and I teach them how to market. At the end, it'd be, look, you got a couple of choices. Go do everything I told you to do.
Exactly.
Or, yes, we'll do it. And the initial thing was $1,500 and then $300 a month. And then I was like, you know what? I tested it, and the next time I said, it's normally $1,500, but if you want to get started, we'll just do it for the $300 a month, and that kind of covers all the technology and the system and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, it was like, yeah, I'll try that.
Thank you, Holly, by the way.
It's what I love about Atlas, Joey, is that in 90 days, you're truly going to show people the right way to do this.
Yeah.
And it's not a bunch of videos and courses and things. It's, let me take you by the hand and walk you down the path.
It's, honestly, we talk about this, and it's, it's been my life for the last 2 years. And when I'm looking at how to do exactly that, because it's me stepping out and saying, listen, I've got this thing that I think it's really going to work for you, but it's only going to work for you if you're heart-centered, first of all. So it's going to repel the wrong people, which is fine. And I looked at the stuff for proof, right? Because when I first did it, Scott, there was no proof, there was no framework, there was nothing. And then I looked back and I'm getting proof elements because there's a whole bunch of proof I have now. And then there was going into the step further, which was, back in the day, I guess it was, the wrong mindset. It definitely was the wrong mindset, but I wanted to bring this to this discussion, which was that I held my cards to my chest, right? It was not an abundance world. Even though I was still, a giver and stuff, it was still like, I can't show them that, right? But now, and I'm looking at all these components that they're going to learn inside of it, including the actual stuff you say, like the simplicity. It's not a script. It's like, here's the thing, and just go model that. I got to admit that the little doubting Dan dude started talking a little bit louder. Like, you're going to show them that, right? And I'm like, yeah, because the way I lowered that volume of that dude, little saboteur guy, I call him Doubting Dan, for anybody who's listening going, what is he talking about? Right. It went back to what you said. What is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of me doing this? Why am I doing all this in the world? Why all this? And even what is the promise about this? I'm promising these people this thing. And if I don't show them everything, then I can't prove to them that it's worth sticking around, right? And I'm telling you, it was a great revelation. It was a transformation myself of like looking at it and saying, this is awesome. And if I could wave a magic wand and have everybody employ that, is that the right word, or adopt it, it would be freaking awesome. It would be awesome because I know that they could do it. And it's about belief. It's truly about belief. So thank you for bringing it up. And yeah, it's amazing. Can't wait to share that with everybody and everybody who's going to that workshop. My friend, it's been a blast again. You're awesome. I know that you have a whole bunch of stuff in front of you. So thank you for being here and taking the time. And, I honor you, man. Like this, every single Tuesday, without fail, you are here. And I honor you and I thank you. And I'm very grateful for you and your wisdom and your generosity, everything. So I just want you to know that. I know I say it a lot of times off air, but I want to say it on air for making sure that you and the world know that. And thank you, everybody, for you being here live and on the broadcast, on the replays. Thank you for giving us the likes, the hearts, and all that, because Facebook then knows that we're doing a good job and hopefully broadcast us to more people so we can reach heart-centered people and share our opinions and knowledge and wisdom and all that stuff. So thank you, everybody, for being here, and we'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same bat channel.